What's up? What's up, y'all? Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Make sure you hit the like and hit the sub as everybody comes in. I'm gonna wait for a little bit before I go ahead and get started. First and foremost, man, I want to give a shout out to the whole Lions Den, LDBC, man, all my brothers. Um, I thank y'all for holding your boy down, man. I thank all my subs for holding me down and really contributing however way, to this channel, whether it's by y'all pulling up, by y'all coming in, showing love. I appreciate everybody, man, because, we growing in this community, and that's what we going to continue to do. We're going to continue to grind and grow. That's what we do here. Uh, I also want to give a shout out to LB. Uh, LB is an LDBC brother as well. If you're not subscribed to LB's channel, I highly suggest that you sub to his channel. It's the political and sports channel of LB. Okay, I've been sub to his channel for uh, going on about roughly 2 years now. So, but he dives into a lot of things and talks about a lot of stuff. And one particular subject that has came up is a comparison. So that's why I'm doing this. And this was to kind of piggyback off of his video and everything. And I wanted to talk about this because I didn't really have a chance to really sit down and express how I feel about this comparison right here. Look, before I get this started, man, I want to let everybody know that this comparison right here is when they're at their absolute best, when they're on their A games. I gotta be fair to Anthony Davis though, being that he's you know been the butt of injuries. He's been riddled with injuries. Pretty much been a walking injury shoe since the beginning of his career, and that's not to say that he came in like a Blake Griffin or Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons or anything like that. But health has always kind of set him back to a lot of degrees. So I want to make that clear because to me it's unfair to judge a player based on that. Okay, when you're lining these two players up, you can't sit there and say, okay, well this player is better when you know good and damn well that that player is not 100% and has been through a whole lot of injuries. He got knee injury, he got ankle injuries, uh, back issues, shoulder issues, whatever, Achilles issues, all of that. So it's unfair for you just to judge him right out against a player that really hasn't had that much of a injury history at all. Okay, but I'm doing this comparison as if both players are healthy, they're 100%, and nothing stands in their way in terms of being a detriment to set them back. Okay, now to me, it's not even close in terms of who's better. Uh, in terms of overall. It's not even close. And my choice in the matter in terms of the players is Greek. Okay, and let me make something else clear too. I love Anthony Davis. He reminds me so much of Kevin Garnett. That's one of the reasons why I love him. He loves me. I mean, he reminds me of the reason why I love AD so much, man. Pause is because he reminds me a lot of KG. You know, now there are some things. There's some things that he's not like KG in. In terms of his toughness and his grit could be a little bit better, at times. But and oh yeah, and also the mental capability. Uh, but other than that, he reminds me of KG because KG was one of them type of players that could run the floor and he could shoot and he could block shots and he hustled on defense and everything. So that's what he remind me of. But not to stray away from the subject, we have to break this down in in six different categories. Okay. The first category is in scoring. The next one has to do with athleticism, then defense, uh, that clutch gene, clutch factor, and then leadership skill. Okay. Uh, and then if you want to throw in basketball IQ and just overall impact, then you could throw that in there, and then also the one on one aspect of everything. Okay, so here it goes. Okay, um, Giannis, as far as scoring is concerned, I give the edge. I give the edge a slight edge to AD. Okay, now that's not by much. That's not by much. But the only reason I'm giving it to AD was the simple fact that at the height of his career, AD has never been under 50% with the exception of the previous season. He was at like 49%, so he was like 49, 50%. You, and but if you want to talk about points, and you want to talk about the numbers, Giannis dominates him because Giannis was at 29.5 points per game and was at 55.3% shooting from the field. We also got to be fair to AD. Like I said, he he was injured. He was playing hurt and everything, so he had the edge on him in field goal percentage. But that's not what we're talking about here. Everybody talks about the skill level. Well, yeah, AD does have when you talk about moves in the post and a little bit more crafty and skilled and everything. AD's got him, but that's not to take anything away from Giannis because see, you could break that down too. Driving to the basket and being able to get to the basket at will, that's a skill. Being able to lose your defender, first step in your defender, that is a skill. Being able to go over the top of your defender and score. That is a skill. Using the basket as a shield. That is a skill. It, when we talk about skill, I think everybody just tends to focus on, okay, he got footwork or, just the basic fundamental. He got handles and all of this other stuff. Nah, it's much more than that. Just like defense is a skill, just like rebounding is a skill, just uh, just like shot blocking is a skill. There's many different skills in the game of basketball. So we have to put that into its proper perspective when we are talking about skill. and Giannis is not far fetched. And the thing about it too is that when you play a certain way, when you're used to playing a certain way, like uh, like Giannis used to going to the cup, not really shooting that many jumpers and everything. You 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 play to your strength at times. But the thing that separates him from other players and will separate him from AD is his willingness. That's not to take anything away from AD, because I know that he wants to get better. But Giannis has shown the ability to get better in different aspects of his game each season. Okay, and the one Achilles heel that everybody's been talking about is his free throw shooting. He's gotten better. I mean, yeah, is he at 66% compared to 80 AD's 84%? Yeah, that's a given. AD is a better shooter by far, you know. But Giannis, he's on the come up, and once he gets that aspect of his game down, he's going to be even a more scary player to deal with, because then if you go on the out if you go on the perimeter and you try to guard him, he's long and he's quick and he's gonna get right past you. If you try to build up this wall, as they say, oh yeah, well we're gonna set up a wall to stop Giannis and everything. Well, guess what? He's going to be able to stop and pop, whether it's at the mid range or if he just wants to go ahead and settle for the 3 pointer. And the thing about it is that Giannis, like I've said before in plenty other videos about Giannis, is his knack to want. He's tenacious in terms of wanting to get better with his shooting. Air ball or not, it don't make a difference. He's still gonna go out there and he gonna give you effort on there. So I give AD the notch in terms of his scoring. Now another hold on one second. Hold on, I apologize, guys. Um, all right, another thing that we gotta look at too is, of course, the obvious that Giannis is better at is his athleticism. You want to talk about freaks of nature? Greek the freak, man. He's a freak of nature, man. You don't see a lot of guys walking the planet Earth like a Giannis or like a KD that are just unicorns, but could pretty much do everything that a guard can. He's athletic. He's he's very very long. Uh, I think he got like a 7'6" wingspan or something like that. 7'6", 7'7", some sort of crazy wingspan. Um, Giannis is dominant too because of his athleticism. He's able to use his physical gifts to take command of the game, and that's why he's a two-time MVP. Don't get it twisted now. AD is also gifted too. A lot of people have to realize that AD back in the days he played point guard, but he hit a late growth spurt, and that's when he was able to grow and ultimately come up to 6'10", close to damn near that 7 foot range. And AD moves good. He moves very well, for his size, but he's not gifted like Giannis is. And uh, AD relies more on his skills rather than his physical ability. So You got right there as far as athleticism. Giannis has the edge on it. Uh, Another thing is that Giannis dominates on defense. You know, don't don't get it twisted, okay? AD can play defense too, but we're talking about a two-time Defensive Player of the Year award. We're talking about a guy. Both guys can easily guard 1 through 5. Okay, I that's one of the reasons why I happen to like AD. Aside from all the and see, this is another thing that we got to stop doing, man. Just because you don't like a player because of their personality or something like that, man. You can't be so subjective, man. You got to learn to be objective, and you got to learn how to how to truly judge a player without being biased or unbiased, if that makes any sense. Okay, I I feel that even though AD is riddled with injuries and stuff like that, I still think that he's still just as good as a defender as Giannis because he could guard 1 through 5. But I have to give Giannis the edge because I think his defensive impact is just a little bit more greater. Can they both move out on the wing? Yeah, absolutely. But Giannis moves out on the wing just as great. I think another point that was brought up because AD can pick up guards as well. But see what, like for instance, in the finals with Giannis, he picked up he they put him on Chris Paul. They put him on Chris Paul, and guess what he did? He caused problems for Chris Paul. He switched up. He played multiple defenders. Uh, he was switching up on everybody. So you could use Giannis pretty much anywhere on the court. That's just common sense right there. And then on top of that, he's able to block the shot and then hustle right back down and then get to where his spot is and then score as well. You know what I'm saying? So you could actually look at Giannis as a two-way player. I mean, he's a two-way player just like Kawhi is a two-way player. Just like, they looked at Paul George at one time as a two-way player. What's up with it, Red Pill? Man, Red Pill, I ain't seen you in a minute, bro. You say Giannis over AD any day. Giannis has physical gift, while AD has more finesse of a game. Okay. Yeah, I respect that opinion. I respect that. Now, another thing that we got to look at too is is the fact that Giannis averaged, uh, steals and he averaged blocks last season that were, above 1. So you have to look at how versatile he is on defense too. Um, he, even though Anthony Davis still is one of the best big men in the NBA, right now, uh, AD can guard smaller players, uh, and he's capable of blocking shots as well. Because AD did average 2.3 blocks, okay, and he was a contender for the Defensive Player of the Year too as well. So I have to give the edge though to Giannis because Giannis does so much more in terms of the impact on the team in terms of defense. Now, clutch factor, I still got to go with Giannis. Listen, everybody's looking for a guy to, oh yeah, man, I want him. I want him to shoot the jumper, and that's clutch. Or I want him to shoot lights out. That's clutch or whatever. Nah, man, That has nothing to do with being clutch. Being clutch is being able to seal the deal regardless. Did Giannis struggle with that initially? Yeah. He struggled with it, the last 2 seasons and whatnot. I'm saying the last season, 2 seasons prior, when he was in the playoffs and everything, and they ran up against when they ran up against Toronto or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? You know, he just lost his edge or whatnot towards the end, and he listened to the critics and everything. They were talking about how he took a hiatus and all this other stuff during the end of games, but he's worked on that aspect, and he's actually proved that, and he proved that just this past season. He has everything. Uh, they have questioned his ability to be under clutch situations for the past few seasons, but like I said, man, he's only 26, and he has time to correct all of this, and our eyes will be on his ability going forward to continue his clutch gene. So right now, I still give the edge to Giannis in terms of his clutch gene because AD at one point when healthy, he was one of the most clutch players in the league. He had the size to get off his shot whenever he wants, and the ability to get the big time shot. And also, Davis has the ability to to be that go-to option. You know, the thing about it though, it comes down to reliability. You got to be able to rely on that player and see if you're hurt and you can't be relied upon to make shots during the end of the game. That's really big. That's a big factor. You said uh you said AD is a better shooter than Giannis, but motor wise and aggressive wise, I'll take Giannis. Yeah, absolutely. You said if I were to create an unstoppable twin tower lineup in the league, I'm putting Giannis and AD on the same team. No team would stop that. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. A lot of people a lot of people don't understand that it has to do with defense. It has to do with defense. A lot of these guys, man, they're like, oh yeah, offense, offense, offense. A lot of people don't understand that Giannis was controlling the game with defense, especially during the finals, because he was controlling it in the interior as well as the perimeter too, as well. Dwayne Lawrence, you said salute to you, bro. You said Giannis proved he can lead a team, and AD have yet to prove he could lead a team. Look at AD at the Pelicans, could not lead them out of the first round. That's a damn good point, and I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Salute to you, TJ. I see you, man. TJ, man, and dog, man. Hey, hey, shout out to LB though, but man, I heard about your name earlier, man. Go sub to my boy TJ Page, TJ Boxing and Sports. But TJ be changing his name, man, like you change shoes, bro. But nah, shout out to my boy TJ. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope the family good and stuff, man. Shout out to TJ. That's the homie. Um, all right, you said you hello, do you think Philly is going to play big with Embiid at the 4 and Drummond at the 5? I think it could work, but Drummond is a liability on defense. We'll get to that in just a second. Red Pill. We talking about AD and we talking about Giannis right now. Okay, so but I'm gonna ask you a question in just a second. Uh, you know, that leads me to my next thing is leadership, right? Some people might not see this as a big deal, but Giannis is a bona fide leader. You know what I'm saying? AD, his leadership is in question. Um, Giannis is a leader. He's still getting better as a leader, and slowly becoming that that leader to where shoot the coach has to start asking him now. Some people say that he lacks IQ. Now that's not true, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But as as a leader, as a leader, your attitude has to be contagious, and his attitude is contagious. For instance, when he came back from that injury, and he, the team was not really playing, up to par like they were supposed to. Guess what Giannis was doing? Giannis was up in there trying to get everybody on the same page. I'm talking about when it came to Atlanta or whatnot. Giannis was trying to do his best to get everybody on the same page. I mean, that's what leaders are supposed to do. You're supposed to get everybody on the same page, and that's what he did. And everybody galvanized around Giannis. He has shown the ability to lead. You know, with a lot of the average supporting cast that he had. Now, I felt like Middleton, he's not average, and uh, Drew Holiday, he's not average. You know, to me, if you want to talk about offense and all that other stuff, PJ Tucker, he might be average or whatever, but in terms of his defense, he's elite. But he was still able to lead a crew that when they didn't have Giannis or whatnot on the floor, it probably took a lot out of them. AD, I mean, he's a great player, but his leadership is has always been in question. Like like Dwayne Lawrence was saying, he never led the playoff. He never led the Pelicans past the first round of the playoffs, and only found success being a supporting cast with LeBron James. He was a pretty much second fiddle. He has never had success as that lead guy, and the way he forced his way out of New Orleans, that's not that doesn't exhibit characteristics as a leader either. So I got Greek in terms of his leadership, by head and shoulders above AD. Basketball IQ. Um, you know, I still give the edge to Giannis. A lot of people, and that's not by much in that particular category. See, everybody thinks like you have to be you got to be this dynamic point guard in order to exhibit really great IQ. That's not true. That's not true at all. You know, uh, Giannis is Giannis has good IQ because he's one of the best overall players. He dominates both ends of the floor and he does not have a weakness besides his inconsistent shooting. You know what I'm saying? Uh, AD impacts the the game on both ends of the floor, and he's a force on offense. So it's kind of the same, but I would have to give the edge to Giannis just for the simple fact that you know you having a high IQ and you being able to get in your teammates' psyche in terms of motivating them. That's a form of intelligence because he's trying to get his team to be all on the same page. And then on top of that, he's able to read. See, a lot of people don't think that Giannis is able to read whether or not okay, this defense is getting ready to collapse or something like yeah. But Giannis is a great passer too. A lot of people don't understand that Giannis is a great passer too. Like they don't look at Giannis as a passer, but he's a great passer. And another thing that nobody's even talking about too, Giannis can move without the ball. He can move without the ball. So he can do a lot. He can do a lot more things on offense that and he's not given the credit that he's truly deserving of. But the thing about it is like intellect. We have to be very careful when we talk about intellect. Man, if you could play great defense and shut your man down, guess what, man? That's intellect because you have the mental capability to shut down your opposition and not let them score on you. If if you could, first step and blow by your man, guess what? That's intellect. You know why? Because you have the mental capability and the know-how to get by your player, whether it's by your athleticism, whether it's by your your fundamental, or just you just knowing how that opposition is standing and being able to judge that person and use it in that way. You know, so everybody just think it's all about X's and O's and knowing this and being able to, uh, you know, just numbers and analytics and stuff like that. That's not just intellect, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be real with you. I'd rather have a guy that can play lockdown defense. You said Giannis is Iron Man, AD is soft as shaman tissue. Yeah, I mean, I don't like. You know what? Dwayne, man, I don't like to call him soft because AD, man, he shouldn't have been playing this year. He shouldn't have been playing this year. He should not have been on the floor. And that's why I was telling TJ. I told him a while back. TJ is a Lakers fan. I said, man, sit your ass down. You do not need to be on the floor. But he went out there and he gave it his all. So I don't call him soft. You know what I'm saying? I don't call AD soft. It's just that he just gets injured quite a bit. Everybody's body is different. So let me tell you this: if you're gonna call AD soft, then you got to call Kawhi soft because that he was playing and sat out constantly sat out and all this other stuff. But when Giannis hyperextended his knee, he was able to still go out there, eh, right? Didn't even have that much turnaround time, and still was out there playing, and finished off the rest of the entire season. But then again, we got to look at everybody's body is different. Plus, the reason why I'm not gonna call a guy like Kawhi soft or AD soft is a simple fact is that Kawhi done had 4 surgeries in the last 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, and Dwayne, hey, you got a good point. Look, and TJ, y'all, I understand where y'all coming from. I, is he soft in terms of, damn, man, every time you turn around, man, you gotta brace yourself whether he gonna fall. Yeah, whether you gotta brace yourself whether he gonna come back into the game. In that sense, yeah. But as far as mentally and him going because he wanted to go out there and show that he could, and guess what he ended up doing? Ended up messing up possibly messing up his growing even more. So you just got to think about the stuff that you say. That narrative was pushed too because of Snoop Dogg and Shaquille O'Neal, man. So I don't call AD soft, man. I just think that he needs to just work on his body. He needs to spend the off season working on his body. You know what I'm saying? Doing whatever he can to get the best treatment. He got the skill, he got the know how, he got the talent. It's just about you being healthy. You know. Um, that's another thing. Now, impact. All right. See, when it comes to impact, Giannis is Giannis is a stat sheet stuffer, man. And the Bucks the Bucks had the best uh, record in the league the previous two seasons. I mean before this season, and his impact is undeniable. And he probably and like I said, man, I mentioned earlier, he's the best two-way player in this game right now. To be able to average you know damn near 30 or more points, uh damn near 14 rebounds, and damn near 6 assists, nigga, that impact is way, way, way better than okay, AD. Okay, yeah, he's one of the best big men in the league, and has very few weaknesses. But Giannis is a better rebounder, better passer, and a better defensive player. You know what I'm saying? Only thing AD got Giannis is in terms of his scoring and his shooting and all that. But he does all Giannis does a lot more intangibles that impact the game a lot better than AD. If that makes any sense. Yeah, the best player is availability. Yep, availability and reliability. That's a good point, Dwayne. That's a very good point. Now, as far as one on one game, like one on one skill, you got to go uh with Giannis. Okay, Giannis has a freakish gift to dominate any defender. You know what I'm saying? And Giannis is unstoppable. He's got the strength and the athleticism to get to the rim. He could finish with force, and he could dominate any defender. You know, that's not to take anything away from AD. He dominate a one on one. He has a shooting ability. When healthy, like I said, this is all when they're healthy. Davis can knock down shots over defenders way better than Greek can. You know what I'm saying? But Giannis Giannis is more impactful for his team, and one on one he's just as dominant too. But and he's only getting better. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, with the career accomplishments, man, you got to state the obvious. Okay, Giannis got a ring. Giannis is a two-time Defensive Player of the Year award. Giannis is a Finals MVP. Giannis has two regular MVPs. You know what I'm saying? And he's also got an All Star MVP. Uh, he's got way, way. Now I know Giannis. I mean, AD. He got a ring, but some people question that ring. It's just the fact of what it is. Me, he got a championship, whatever, man. I'm not gonna call it no Disney championship or anything like that. I'm not gonna do that. Because you still at the end of the day, he still had to go out there and had to perform to get that ring. There were no excuses. But Giannis got all of that under his belt. He got all of that on his resume in terms of AD. So we have to look at that sort of thing. We have to look at what type of accomplishments that both of these players had. And Giannis, he had it. He's got more hardware. He's got more hardware. He's got a lot of things that a lot of other players don't. He got MVP and he got defensive player in the same year. And the only other players that have been able to do that, like I've stated before, has been Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, and David Robinson. He's in that class. You understand what I'm saying? So you 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 have to look at those sort of things and those type of uh, accomplishments that he's reaching in terms of the defensive player of the year award. I like a defensive player of the year or a finals MVP better than what I would like just a regular MVP, if that makes any sense. Because a finals MVP, it shows that it shows that you played at its highest level. So a finals MVP, that means that when it's all said and done, you were the last man standing, and you were the last best man standing. If that makes any sense. MVP is a regular season. Man, there's been a lot of MVPs. They got MVP, and what did they do? They ended up losing. One example is Karl Malone. Another example is Charles Barkley. So, like I said, man, I got respect for both players. I don't think anybody is going to pull up uh, to talk about this. But y'all tell me what you think, man. You know, do you think Giannis is better or do you think AD is better? And for the ones that haven't left their comments, leave your comments. Until then, man, it's been a pleasure. I thank y'all for pulling up. I think TJ Boston and Sports. Go subscribe to my boy TJ Boston and Sports. I appreciate you, Hakeem, for pulling up. Hakeem pulling up. Big Who 92. I thank you for pulling up. Go subscribe to my boy Big Who Page and Hooligans. I thank you, Red Pill, for showing up. And Dwayne Lawrence, man, I thank y'all for pulling up. Until then, Polo Sports Talking ENT, man. And I'm gonna get at y'all.